Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a brand new TW9 video. You join us now on the road to Blood and Guts. I can finally say it. So looking forward to that one. As I say, we've got roughly, I think it's 3 episodes before we get there. So a good card that I've kind of written out so far, and hopefully we can make the storyline captivating and enjoyable and get a good payoff from that. Decided going forward I'm going to put a wee bit longer delay between episodes just to give myself one, a bit more time, but two, I'm also going to start working on stuff for the future. There is something that I want to try and do for 2026. I'm starting with it early because I think it is going to take a lot of time and I kind of want a bit backdated. So if it does make the air, then you'll probably see that in, well, maybe 2026. I might see it late 2025, but there's a little spoiler that might be happening. But yeah, a few days as well off of the live Dynamite. It was in Scotland and Glasgow. Must say, enjoyed that on the Collision Taping. It's really, really refreshing to have a show that's just constant match. Not too many promos and certainly not too many advertisements for various things. So yeah, enjoyed it. Did go quite long, but I suppose if you're fitting in 4 hours of television plus obviously a wee kind of tapings for ROH, that's going to happen. And Tony Khan likes to mumble a lot. Nice enough guy, but yeah, Tony cut it down a little bit in the future. But yeah, talking of mumbling, probably shouldn't do that. I think we've got an episode of Dynamite to come, and of course Collision, and we'll of course go through our B shows. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode in a week in AEW. And in true fashion, I've arsed up the opening segment. But anyway, we're in the UWM Panther Arena. Basically, the first matchup will be Will Ospreay versus Trevor Lee. But yeah, can I put this segment before it accidentally? So pretend the matchup's already happened. After a good win over Trevor Lee, Will Ospreay makes it backstage and he bumps into a familiar foe. Kyle, mate, I can't believe you've aligned yourself with Don Callis. Mate, you don't need him. You're a supremely talented athlete. You're good enough to get to the top, and you're good enough to be there on your own. And he goes, Will, I know how good I am. I know how good I can become. There is nothing wrong with someone helping mould all these pieces together to make me a proto star. So a 75 for their segment and the little storyline between these two has advanced. And that matchup, great wrestling, decent reaction from the audience as Ospreay defeats Trevor Lee in 13:41 with the Stormbreaker. I think it was obvious who was going to win. As I said, Trevor Lee will kind of play more an enhancement role here in AEW at the moment. But good win for Ospreay, 80 segment because obviously limited with time. 90 for Ospreay, 71 Trevor Lee. Next up, we're about to have some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Ua defeated Sami Zayn in 12:45 with a standing shooting star press following interference from his manager, Paul Heyman. I felt like Ua needed a big victory, and this is certainly one. As I say, Ricochet is absolutely fine, he is flying, but the other half of the tag team champions needed a bit more momentum and probably need to get some better in-ring performance ratings. So this one certainly helped, a 75 for the wrestling, a total segment of a 77, and Ua were pretty respectable, 74 rating. We then hear from Paul Heyman, and he says, I have to laugh that I see all this squabbling around who gets to get the next shot at the AEW World Tag Team Championship. It doesn't matter if it's Nick Wayne and AJ Styles, if it's FTR, the spooky Kings of the Black Throne, or even Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. Gentlemen, look at what just occurred here. A fine wrestler in Sami Zayn, completely destroyed by Ua. Add to that the finesse, the excitement of Ricochet, and this is one of the greatest tag teams this industry will ever see. We'll be waiting at Blood or Guts. Will whoever wins be ready? So a 72 there for Heyman, obviously promoting Ricochet and Ua and some of the clients that are on this brand. Then hear from Mercedes Moné against her future challenger for the AEW Women's World Championship. That is, of course, Chris Statlander. She says, Chris Statlander, since I've joined AEW, I've battled many talented women here, but one I've yet to lock horns with is you. Of course, in this bracket, these two have never tangled. So those two matches that happened at pay-per-views didn't happen here. I've saw that you're capable, what you're capable of. You're strong, you're athletic, but that doesn't get you to the top. Show me how good you really are. Can you hang at the top where the money is? Quite proud of that line. But 79 segment, building up that one, of course, it is going to be heel versus heel when these two do collide, but I feel it's a matchup that Chris really needs at this point in their save. The storyline advances and gains heat. We then see her backstage as she is getting ready for trios action, and she's alongside Gianna Daddio and Megan Bain. She just says, "Listen, I know we maybe don't fully see eye to eye, but tonight stay the hell out of my way, and I'm going to walk through Athena, Billy, and Tony." And then you just have Gianna Daddio with that kind of sarky comment to Megan Bain going, "Oh wow, she's riled up." So a 75 segment, the storyline advances, Gianna benefiting from groundswell of public support and being better at her gimmick. The trios match itself was okay, pretty respectable, maybe could have been a bit better. A decent matchup, the team of Chris Statlander, Gianna Daddio and Megan Bain defeat the team of Athena, Billy Starks and Tony Storm in 15:06 when Statlander pinned Billy Starks with the area 451. 68 for the wrestling and a 72 segment, so good momentum gain there for Chris Statlander. In terms of performances, bit of a negative there with Gianna Daddio being really off her game, which brought her down to a 66. Most of the baby faces into the mid to high 60s apart from Billy. And Megan Bain with the best performance with a 74, so that's good to see. Storyline advances, but yeah, good one for the heels, and I think we do have a very strong women's division. Then I have some words quickly from Kenny Omega, who's alongside Kota Ibushi. He just says, "Ibushi-san, it seems like it's just 18 days and we'll be at Blood and Guts. It's time to show the world that we are ready and down for the battle." Obviously, they will be alongside Hangman, Adam Page, and the Young Bucks against the Backbone. 77 for the segment. And yeah, Kota Ibushi in action next, as we have to try and get him out of this extremely poor form. He defeats Matt Taven in 8:28 with the Kamigoye. Storytelling matchup. We just need to keep giving them matches till he gets out of being in poor form. We then hear from Becky Quinn, who's alongside Valkyrie backstage. She just says, "Last week, let's just put that behind us. Let's get back to winning ways against a very dangerous team. Masha and Tekla, this is going to be a war." And then just Valkyrie saying, "Don't worry, Becky, I will not let you down." So a 63 segment. This should be a banger of a tag team match. And it was only a 64. Wow. Probably because I made that wild brawl. I thought that would suit Masha, which you can see 67 it probably has. I think probably because I think a regular match for this maybe hits a 70. So maybe not utilising the full of her skill sets. But decent wild brawl. Becky Quinn and Valkyrie defeat Masha Slamovich and Tekla in 12:43 when Becky pinned Masha with the Explorer Suplex. Some good performances in there, but making up for last week's mistake and getting some more positive momentum for Becky and Valkyrie. Or Valkyria, however you wish to pronounce it. We then hear from Nigel McGuinness alongside Renee Paquette. I forgot to add Renee Paquette in for this one. But anyway, Nigel, tonight you are given a great main event matchup with Kyle Fletcher. What are your thoughts? Nigel says, "Renee, I'm always honoured to be given a chance to test myself in the main event, and in this case against an elite young talent in Kyle Fletcher. These are young and up-and-coming wrestlers who want to make a name off of me, so it's up to me to show that I can still compete and hang with them and not be like the old dog being shot at the back. I have dreams and aspirations myself. I win here, and the championship has to be my aim." So he's looking to get championship gold in the future, but of course a big matchup with Kyle Fletcher. Only a 56 though. And the matchup, Nigel couldn't deliver. That's a shame. I thought he would be able to. Decent matchup. Kyle Fletcher defeats Nigel McGuinness in 14:05 with the Grimstone. This was our Steal the Show matchup. I was hoping Nigel could rival Kyle and get into maybe the 70s to drag it over the line to 80. But 72 for the wrestling and a 77 segment. So I think, sadly, we are going to progress a lot storyline wise, but I think we'll always pop here. But that's the business that we're in. And it's been a valiant effort from Nigel McGuinness, but the era of the Protostar is kicking off. Fletcher picks up the win, and he's not finished yet. He's getting ready to hit Nigel with his finisher again, when here comes Will Ospreay. He sprints to the ring, and he helps Nigel McGuinness, and Kyle Fletcher hot tails it to the crowd. Things are surely heating up for the former friend. So I think you know where we're going with this one. The storyline advances and gains heat. 80-rated segment, and we finish the show with a 76. Which is fair. As I said, I don't think we had anything particularly outstanding. As I said, I think the highest segment in total was 280, there's 79 in there. But we are in a kind of way where I need to start building up new stars. I need to kind of keep stuff fresh. And you're not going to have like an 80 rated a 90 rated matchup every week. I can't just keep forcing good matches for the sake of good matches. And a lot of good workers are probably on Collision as well in terms of more complete packages, your Walters, etc. etc. So yeah, one popularity gain. Slightly disappointed that we didn't have more storylines. That's fair enough. As I say, I think I have like 8 storylines, and I think half of them are on each show. So if you're really touching 2 or 3, I can see why that is an issue. But I just don't want to get to the stage where I turn storylines off. So I'm going to keep trying to push myself to get better at that. That was Dynamite. I think we've got to go and jump to Collision. We're now in Connecticut for AEW Collision. We're at the Harry A. Gampo Pavilion, and we are straight in with some tag team action in the little mini tournament we've got going. It was about that had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the audience as FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood defeated AJ Styles and Nick Wayne in 1504 when Cash Wheeler pinned AJ Styles using the rope for leverage. A little bit of cheating in there. This was our Steal the Show matchup of the evening. What the hell happened to Dax Harwood here in 94? Holy cow, that is a phenomenal performance. Pun intended with AJ being in there. But yeah, 81 for the wrestling, 63 crowd, 77 segment. Just absolutely phenomenal stuff from FTR here. Obviously they have excellent chemistry together. The storyline between AJ and Nick advances. I'm curious, negatives here. They're in their low storyline heat. AJ Styles and Cash Wheeler's inconsistency, and of course the physical breakdown of AJ Styles. But yeah, phenomenal, Dax. Can we keep this up, please? I'd be absolutely delighted with that. And yeah, FTR will advance into the final. Obviously a potential matchup with a potential matchup with Ua and Ricochet could be in the offing. Some words after it from FTR, and most will go with Dax. He usually does most of the talking. We are FTR. We are living legends, and here we've just shown why we are still the greatest tag team on this planet, and that all that we are missing is tag team gold. AJ Styles was a legend. Nick Wayne could eventually be one, but tonight was not good enough to beat us. So we're going to keep a keen eye later on tonight on the matchup between the Kings of the Black Throne and Christian Cage and Cope. And Adam, we haven't forgotten. We will never forget what you two done to us. So even if you survive tonight against Big Brody and Malachi Black, we'll finish the job off, and then after that, we'll hurt you, and then Ricochet, Ua, Heyman. It's time for us to reclaim the gold. Top guys, out. So basically putting everyone on notice, all the teams there, and of course the champions. And the segment here was a 67. Of course, that matchup between the Kings of the Black Throne and Christian Cage and Cope later on this evening. We then hear from Switchblade Jay Whiteley, number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship. Short promo here, but it gets the job done. Last week was just a little reminder of how good I am, just in case you forgot. Orange Cassidy beheaded by the Switchblade. 18 days, Brian. 18 days till we go head to head. 18 days until Jay White finally becomes a champion here in AEW. And of course, it will be the big one, the World Championship. 18 days. The Dragon gets beheaded next. So, short sweet promo on the World Championship scene. 88 rated segment, and their storyline advances and gains heat. Next up with a wild brawl that had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Rush defeats Mark Davis in 10:58 with the Rush driver. Overall, a 78 for the wrestling and an 80 segment, so obviously they complemented their wrestling style, and this was with Rush off his game. Solid stuff. We hear some words from Walter at the top of the ramp, and he says, "It's impressive stuff, Rush, and a good physical brawl. That's it, let all that anger out. You see, me and you aren't that too dissimilar. We both like a similar style of wrestling. The problem is temperament. I can control mine. You just get angry, flustered, and you can't control it. Hell, even me saying this to you now is triggering you. I hope one day we do battle soon, though, because you won't be able to hold it together." So Walter getting in the head of Rush potentially. 83 segment here. Walter storyline advances. Next up, it was the in-ring debut of Candice LeRae as she battled Emi Sakura. It was about to have some decent wrestling, but little heat. Candice picking up the win in 6:26 with a Heartbreaker. This matchup was our storytelling matchup of the evening. Good performances, 51 and 64. Crowd obviously need them both to get a bit more over on this, leaving a segment of 48. Next up, we had the Okada celebration. So he starts the promo saying, "I stand before you, the AEW International Champion. I've been a champion now 3 times in AEW. Once as a World Champion, once as the Continental Champion, and now as your International Champion. Gold is just what I do. This belt will show that I am the best in the world, better than the rest of Japan, better than everyone in Mexico, better than everyone in the US, and better than the rest of the world. No one from any country is on my level." This leads to an interruption from Ilya Dragunov. Now, Kada, you see, that's something that I disagree with. Now, the last time I challenged for that belt, I lost to Walter, but that just shows you the high level of talent around the world that there is here in AEW. Now, you got lucky against one European, but lightning doesn't strike twice. How about you grow some balls and fight me for that championship? And Okada, of course, just starts laughing and just goes, "No, bitch." So a 77 segment there. I've just pulled him into Walter's next challenger because obviously it was branching off from Okada versus Walter. And this segment lost a little bit of heat though, but a 77. Well, Dragunov finally get his opportunity against Okada. Next up, decent wrestling, not much heat. We had Johnny Gargano over Brian Keefe in 10:25 with the Hearts Donut. Again, getting some positive momentum, racking up the wins thanks to the arrival of his wife in AEW. 67 wrestling and a 73 segment as Johnny Gargano wins. We then had some words from MGF backstage. He says, "So Hangman Adam Page has decided to call in Blood and Guts. Great, fantastic. What a company this is that has allowed that. You know what? It's fine. It gives me the opportunity, along the rest of this great group, to take out the heart of AEW and crush it. You guys done a lot to create it, but it will be us who maintain it and take it to the top. Oh, and as far as the 5th man goes, Hangman, I've got something in mind. Turns out quite a few people have a bit of a hatred towards you, the Bucks, Ibushi, and Kenny. Hell, he might introduce himself real soon." So 81 segment, storyline advances, gains a little bit of heat. In the other semi-final of the tournament for the AEW Tag Team Championship #1 contenders, got there in the end. This matchup, Cope and Christian Cage defeat the Kings of the Black Throne in 18-17 when Cope pinned Brody King with the spear because Malachi's not taking the fall. Brody King carried the match in terms of ring performance. That's really good to see. That's encouraging. So a 72 segment, 78 segment. You're going to have Cope and Christian versus FTR next week on Collision. A few positives there you can see there. It's probably getting an idea where some things are going to go, but yeah, overall, happy with that. We're then getting ready for our main event, and we have some words from Swerve Strickland. He says, "Tonight is an opportunity to right a wrong from the end of last year and start 2026 off on the right note. You see, I want to make this like every other year, and that is my year, with success and glory. So tonight, Konosuke Takeshita, we had a banger at Full Gear, and yeah, you got the job done, but lessons have been learned. Preparation is at an all-time high, and a win over you propels me back to the top of whose house? Swerve's house." So this storyline advances. 84 segment. We've got Swerve versus Takeshita main event. And it only gave us 79. Wow. So it's about to have superb wrestling and good heat. Swerve Strickland defeats Takeshita in 22:50 with the Swerve Stomp. So let's analyse it. 91 for the wrestling and a 79 segment. Well, you can clearly see there with the red, the psychology penalty has hurt us. So I think we lose maybe from an 84. Maybe because it's still the start of the programme that we're looking to build here, that's maybe affected it as well. But Swerve with the win, it gets a bit of revenge on Takeshita, and it's going to lead to a few things down the line. You can see there, yep, I felt that's the 2 negatives that would hamper it. But yeah, so I was saying, you kind of get great matches all the time. Sometimes it doesn't go wrong, but I think as well, if you keep having the likes of Swerve and Takeshita having matches, maybe not necessarily against each other, but just in general against other people with good psychology, that is going to improve in other people, and then eventually you get the long-term benefit of it. But if you don't have matches, you can't learn psychology. Overall, show was an 80 and it didn't result in any popularity changes, and we've regained in Oceania, but we have a limited number of viewers there. But overall, as I say, I feel actually quite similar to Dynamite. I felt like we progressed the stories along. We're certainly on a good run towards Blood and Guts. But yeah, I think we were pretty much saved by Brian and Jay White, mostly just Jay White, it was his promo. And a very surprising performance from Dax Harwood. So that's us for Collision. I'll go finish off the B shows. Let's take a look at the B show results shortly, and of course, what happened else in the world of AEW. So time for a little nosy of what else has happened. We've also got some sort of contract renewals. We did have a lot of the prior participants of the Super Shine Grand Prix from last year. Their 1 year deals are coming up, so some are going, some will get renewals. The ones that'll be going are just ones that have either went to Ring of Honor or just really haven't used them. We can see here, Pac is back at 100%, so we will use him again, which is ideal. You'll love to see that. If there's anything else there that directly affects us, not really. So the contract situation, the renewals, Sarah I'll pronounce that wrong every time, is renewed. Maxine Paler is renewed. She'll go, or they will go, sorry, to Ring of Honor, if I can find it. ROH, where are you? There we go. Sandra Moon is in. She'll be back to Ring of Honor, and Sawyer Rick as well. So also looking for the extensions for Tezuka Fujimoto, Danny Luna, Misa Ruga, Mayu Yamashita, Takuma Aroha, and Sari. So a pretty good standard of women's wrestler. So, what have we got here? So, Bad Luck Fale is in new areas, that's fine, we don't need that. Cole Carter's only 30 days left on his contract. He's still only 25, although with a lot of those stats, I don't know if there's even been much of a growth on Ring of Honor. Brawlin's up 1, Perescu 1. Do you know what? See, because of the limited development, I'm not going to renew that. Kent is gone, so his contract has expired. Maki Ito has 30 days. She was in that tournament as well. Do you know, I haven't really utilised her. I think I'm going to let Maki Ito go as well. Masha's an absolute no-brainer. That's one that we're absolutely going to renew. It pains me in my offline save that she has a very, very bad injury, or she would have been getting pushed from day one. Natsupoi is done after the loan period is expired. Pac's Fully Fit we know about. Collision gets its 1.3 million viewers overall, nearly 1.4. Shockwave get 3 million. And Bailey says that her fellow Money Corporation stablemate Nixon No is charismatic and can see her doing well in the future. So good stuff there. I say Nixon is one obviously we'll hopefully look to develop, although compared to what you saw with Cole Carter, 5 in Brawling, Perescu 9, Technical's only 1. That's good to see. Psychology's up 5 over the year. Charisma's up 2, so that's still got a long way to improve. Maybe we could use better star quality, but yeah, pretty good stuff. All the physical stuff here seems to be at least staying. I think as it is all stable apart from the stamina's went up, but yeah, only 31, plenty of time. Hopefully to improve. That worries me though, the troublesome knee. So that's everything there. So to really finish up, we'll just have a look over the B shows just to let you see what I kind of booked and my ideas were there. So Rampage, we had Keith Lee defeat Jay Lethal in a 59, then some mods from Keith Lee was a 65. The Starlight Kid had a victory over Steph Delander, which was a 44. Steph is contracted, but she's really just an enhancement talent, and it was someone I was maybe looking to utilise as a manager. We had some more tension between Kushida and Alex Shelley, which was a 55. Priscilla Kelly defeated Saki Kashima, I believe that's pronounced, 61. And then, of course, remember, she is friends and technically a tag team partner with the number 1 contender, Chris Statlander, so they had some mods in a 72. And your main event saw, and this save, one of the first teams together is Jet Speed, as Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey defeat Alex Reynolds and John Silver of a Dark Order in a 61. Over at Shockwave, we had Hologram over Isaiah Cassidy again, which was a 68. We had 5 with the best wrestler alive, 65 for Max Caster's promo. Kevin Knight with the win over him was a 41. Some words for Anthony Bones, which was a 60. Same result for his win over Johnny TV. We had some words from Jamie Hayter, which was a 73 before she defeated Sky Blue in a 68. Azumi defeats Natsupoi in a 51 to end her loan spell. Some words from the Money Corporation's Bailey, Nixon No and Sky Blue was a 75. And your main event saw Ilya Dragunov defeat Jack Perry in an all-out 80 rated main event. So overall, a 77, some good stuff there. But yeah, overall, I felt like storyline-wise it was good. Everything that I've got planned match-wise is coming together. There's a few people where I need to find where I'm going with them. I think Kevin Steen's definitely one where we can fit him in, who we can feud with. But there is some feuds that still really need to kick on. I believe the stuff we got planned for Darby Allin certainly falls into that category, and a few other things as well. But I'll call it there because I think I've blabbered on for far too long. So as always, thank you very much for watching. A wee thumbs up is deeply appreciated. Remember and check out the various sources, which is of course the Fancy Bigger subreddit, Greedog Software Forum for all the patches, a lot of good written content there as well, and of course mods etc. TEWDB.com and BeTheBooker.net. Till next time, see you later. Bye bye.